Okay, so welcome back, everybody. This is game number 2 in a best of 5 in between WWP, a Chinese team, and Suomi. So, we're gonna have a Burmese flank over here from Vivi. Interesting, in green. Actually, if it's green, it should be a pocket. So they actually flipped up Vivi and Lix here. Previous game, Vivi was the flank and Lix was the pocket. Now it's going to be Vivi as pocket in green, and we're gonna have Lix as gothic flank. Oh my goodness, gothic flank. Kumans for Yo in red, and we're gonna have, look at that. Yo is being a nice boy and he's... Wait, that's Tim's sheep. Never mind, I thought this is his opponent's base, but it seems like Yo is just going to get his sheep to Tim. Anyways, what I wanted to say here is that we got Mayans and the Gothic flank and Burmese and the Kuman pockets. Interesting, one of the standard archer flanks, and the Gothic flank here is like absolute chaos. I don't think this is gonna be anything that's like related to the Gothic flood. This is probably going to be laming heavy and very, very aggressive. It's going to be interesting how Rubenstock reacts this one. Rubenstock is Ethiopians, and speaking of laming, there is Lix. And Gothic villagers actually deal a lot more damage to boars and huntables, and this is why, look at that, Rubenstock is bringing that boar in immediately, because he knows that that boar could get killed very, very easily. And Lix will probably try to do some damage to that boar, tries to block it, and kill that little villager. Yeah, but honestly, if you're Rubenstock, this isn't really a big deal. As Stridrum says, you can just drop your mill here, and you can literally mill that boar. That's actually one of the more reasonable spots. I guess this is why Lix is going to try and vote that in. There is a second scout coming in here, so... Look at Lix! Look at Lix! This is why you pick Gods as flanks. You think about Gods as, hey, this is the civ with insane infantry flood. No, this is the civ that is just like, you know, laming and laming and laming. Speaking of laming, Rubenstock is actually going to lame away 2 sheep from Lix over here, so a little bit of retaliation over here. And the other thing I want to point out is that Vilas is so deep in here. He's also playing pocket, so it seems like Zupi will now play flank. Zupi is playing teal Chinese flank, and Max is playing Franks and pocket. So it's interesting to see how far away Vilas is from the center of the map. If you compare it to Vivi, like Vivi is kind of far from the edge of the map, Vilas is right next to it, so he's literally in this little corner, and it's actually an easy wall off for him. Alright, so... just Lix things over here. Just Lix things and just Gothic things. So yeah, Rubenstock, now that boar is walled in, that's not so great for him. So he's not gonna be able to grab it. But he could actually try finding those 2 sheep over there. If he's lucky, he can bump into 2 sheep and compensate for his lost boar with some stolen sheep. It's not going to be perfect, but it's something. Kind of. So... what's the plan here for Vivi? It's probably scouts into a Rambai, the standard Burmese play. And that can be very devastating if you can actually make sure that one of the archer players dies. And that's exactly... this is a douche. Ladies and gentlemen, Rubenstock says, okay, you lame my boar, I'm gonna douche you. How many villagers is that? It's 9. You actually pull 1 more, and you bring your sheep. That's something that a lot of people aren't actually doing when you're douching. And the reason why you do that, as those sheep will actually be lamed away by Lix. The reason why you do that is because you want to be able to gather food when you actually drop that TC and the opponent dies. Question. Is that in range? I am not 100% convinced this is in range. This is either the best ever douche, or this is outside of range. We're going to figure it out in a second, I guess. But anyways, you're trying to bring in your goats over here, and it's not... it's in range. It's in range. It's fine, guys. It's completely fine. Fun fact, this way you can actually take the berries of Lix here on the other side. So who lames who? That's the question. Yeah, I did assume that Ruben knows the douche range. But I was like, are we gonna see a big failure? Speaking of laming, over here we have Drush. This Brax is dropped on the gold mine of Rubenstock. Rubenstock just pretty much plays Nomad over here, leaves his own base, and the Drush is now heading towards the base of Viles. That's a beautiful douche, by the way. That's absolutely beautiful, because you can take the berries. And Lix isn't going up. Lix isn't going up the field age, which is important, because these players pretty much cancel each other out. The problem here for Suomi is that if these players cancel each other out here as... where is Lix gonna go? Is Lix going to take the base of Rubenstock here? It would make sense. This base is pretty much untouched. We even have a half-dead boar here. No. Or is he gonna try and douche Viles here? That would be beautiful. Because right now, Rubenstock isn't going to be a factor. Neither will Lix be, but Lix could actually be very, very disruptive over here. And speaking of villager fights, Rubenstock is going full aggro here. Like, he's trying to vote this here, but it's like, who traps who? Someone is trapped with someone else over here. That's something we know. And these villagers are actually going to douche Viles here. So the plan is that, okay, Rubenstock is dead, I am dead, then I'm going to kill my opponent's pocket as well. So it's going to be 2 dead players from Suomi compared to just 1 over here. This is a majestic villager fight. This guy is derping out here for whatever reason. I didn't actually take a look at the villager counts. These 2 players are bottom score, so we can't see them. Wonderful. At least I can do some nice clickbaits with that game. This is going to be a beautiful clickbait game. So let's see. That is around 7 villagers for Lix over here, and a lot more for Rubenstock. So Rubenstock is going to be living a happy life here with these villagers relentlessly marching forward. They have enough wood for a TC drop. Viles doesn't have a stable. What is Viles up to? Or where's his stable at? He's making a scout. Oh, Viles! What is Viles doing? He's making his stable at the back of Vivi's base with this sneaky villager and gets a tower up on the wood line. Vivi has no idea. The problem is that if his stable is here, he has nothing at home to defend with, and it looks like it's not a douche. But it's actually just, you know, high neighbor type of a game. Here come the scouts from Viles. That's actually good coordination. Do you know what's gonna happen now? These villagers will go to the base of Vivi. What is this? What is this? Now, question. Did Max see this? Or did Viles? Viles has no idea. Viles has actually no idea. At some point, okay, he sees the militia, but at some point he might send the villagers to the gold mine. And he's going to see that, hey, there's a TC on my gold mine. Alright, so next step. Rubenstock will try douching the stone and gold mine of Vivi over here. I don't know what's happening on the right side, but I don't even care, to be honest. Because they play standard game and that's boring. Tim, by the way, has lost access to his gold mine, but this is not the fun part in the game. This is not the fun part. So... oh, by the way, that's a beautiful berry location for Vivi over there. So now Viles figures out, hey, there's actually a TC in my base. Not so ideal, I would say. Lix is on 11 villagers, by the way. And Lix doesn't have food to make more vills. Remember that the rules say there's no feudal age slinging, so Lix will be without villagers here for quite a while. And villagers, I don't know how they actually got in here, because I was looking at the other TC drop. But they somehow get through these gates. And now the gold mine is gonna be gone, stone mine is gonna be gone, Rubenstock doing Rubenstock things, laying it. By the way, can we just appreciate that Rubenstock is actually douching with Ethiopians? It's not like he's doing it with Persians. He's using Ethiopians. Just casually. Now, here's the first farmer of the game for Lix, better late than never, as the saying goes. And it looks like Rubenstock is gonna have a perfectly balanced eco of having 14 villagers on a single patch of berries. And that's not enough wood for another TC. Ruben? He's laming the farms. He's laming the farms. Or at least he's trying to. See? What happens here is that you send your villager to an unoccupied farm. Because if Vivi garrisons the farm, or villagers from the farms, you can actually take a farm with your villager. And if you take your farm, it becomes yours, as you see here on the script. It's Rubenstock's farm, not Vivi's. And that way, you can go there, take that farm, and then delete it. That's a farm lame. It looks like Lix is actually committed to fighting the villagers of Vilas over here. Remember, Vilas doesn't really have scouts over here, and Vilas is suffering from this pressure here. This much. Yeah, we can just appreciate that Max is going into Castle Age here. Zupi also towering the hell out of Tim. I feel like, as messy as this game is, now Rubenstock is gonna be in a little bit of a trouble here, because there's a castle coming up from our green player, and since Vilas is pretty much unprotected back at home, first few around by could actually cause a lot of chaos here as well, and it looks like Lix is just gonna keep adding some cheap militias here. Oh man, this is beautiful. We have 2 Dark Age players at 19 minutes, by the way, and 2 Castle Age players. Everybody else is going up to Castle as well. Yo is probably chilling back at home, booming on 2 TCs like, you guys are fine, right? Like, imagine if Yo wasn't on voice chat with them. Yo would be booming on 2 TCs, oh yeah, my flanks are fine, and then it's like, sure, they're fine. But Yo is at 54 villagers, which is something to monitor. Max is at 31. So that is still something to keep in mind. Vilas taking quite a significant beating over here by the militias. And honestly, Lix could try douching him here. Like, Lix could very well try douching him, because he's got the resources for it. In the meanwhile, Rubenstock's TC is gonna be killed. Rubenstock does have a lumber camp to chop wood at, but he doesn't have additional wood for a new TC, so he's gonna be living nomadic lifestyle, and he's gonna be doing that in this little corner. This little corner is gonna be important because this is going to be the trade corner for China. So if Rubenstock actually starts building up here, China isn't going to be trading in the future, which is a nice thing. You can deny or harass the trade that way. Anyways, Archer's trying to deny the wood line. Tim's eco is pretty much just as good as my eco is usually when I'm playing the game. And it looks like he's 14 on stone. He wants a castle up for plumed archers or just more towers. So he can get some tower defense going. Lix getting other barracks in, and he's mining gold, getting some food. It's more militias. And because Vilas has his stable over here, he isn't really able to defend against this one right now. He's up to Castle Age, so he's gonna start making knights, but only one stable and the Rambai will start killing them. This is looking good for China, honestly. What happened to Lix and Rubenstock? Long story short, Lix lamed the huntables and whatnot from Rubenstock. In response, Rubenstock douched him. This meant that Lix actually went to drop his TC on Vilas, who dropped his stable on the opponent's pocket, who also got douched by Rubenstock but went for a defensive castle and stopped that. That's the summary of this game so far. Hope you were able to follow. This was actually even scary to just tell the story. Anyways, Tim is doing Tim-like stone walls, crossbows are in here, and guess what? Knights are coming in. Tim is dead. We know that. Lix is sorta dead, but Vilas is also going to be semi-dead, so will Rubenstock be. Rubenstock finds a new TC spot for himself. Lix has 24 vills now. Tim is at 46, and he's getting pressured quite heavily by the Max. Where is Yo at, though? Yo is just starting to add knights here, so he's waiting, letting his flank die. And Cav Archers. Pocket Cav Archers from Vilas, because remember that, as I said, Arambai are insane if your opponent's Archer Civ is dead. And the opponent's Archer Civ is dead, and here is the douche. It's going to be a douche plus Arambai play here, and Vilas has nowhere to go. He doesn't have the Cav Archer numbers to actually take this fight directly, and it's not like he's gonna be able to escape. Lix wants to make sure that that TC goes up, and I think that is that within range? I don't think it's within range. Well, it's not like it really mattered because it's just one tile closer, but you can actually try focusing down that house, or like those two houses, or even better, this policide. If you kill that, you are gonna be able to drop a TC over here, and then that's gonna be in range. What else is happening on their side? Nothing important, basically. This is the fun part of the game. And now, is that in range? I don't think that's in range either. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think it's in range. It's either just barely within range, or it's not. Because this other TC was here. Licks! It's not in range! It's not in range, Licks. Oh my goodness. Don't worry, guys. He's got wood. He's just gonna have to destroy that polycide. And maybe that one. And you can fit a TC in here so nicely, but... Well... other notable things. Ruben's stock, in a couple of minutes he might even go to feudal age. Other side, Yo is getting sorta smashed here because he doesn't have a flank. Remember that Tim got beaten pretty hard. Tim was mining stone very heavily, he's still mining some, but it's not really impactful. For whatever reason, Tim is chopping wood over here when his base is over here, don't ask me why. This game is just like this, and Yo is now going to be overrun by Max is Knights. Yo's got the better eco, but he didn't have the numbers, he's just getting his knight numbers out. Honestly, 2 or 3 camos would help so much for Yo here, because there is no archers on the field, or at least not close to his base, so a couple of camos would be immensely helpful, and he dropped down to 75 villagers, so all the Kum and Boom is gone for Yo. Yo might have been a little bit too greedy over here. Anyways, the houses here are dead somehow. I don't know how those actually died, but... Now you can drop your TC. Congrats! Here it comes. Tim just stonewalling off like 50% of the map, like Tim usually does. And that's, I think, a little bit too close now, Lex. Imagine if this TC was full of like 10 villagers. It's too close. I mean, it's not really a big deal right now for him, but he could have lost a lot more villagers. Ruben's stock, he's on the way to feudal age. It's happening. Lix has like random stone miners over here, Ruben just outposting it. Casual things happening in a team game. At least this villager doesn't get killed by a lion. In fact, if the hill wasn't here, this villager would be killed by a lion, just saying. Alright, we got Arambai inside the base of Maxwell. Remember that without archer support, Arambai just eat knights. And that's why this thing could still be so strong for China. Viles, indeed, could actually get Botkin Arrow. In fact, he already has Botkin Arrow on his TCs. So his firepower is a lot better. And I think that Viles might be in the range to kill those villagers behind. Or at least he's very close. But Viles is able to defend against this one. And what's more important is that Viles has more TCs. So this TC drop works until your opponent doesn't get to Castle Age. The problem is that Knights will now start overrunning Zupi here. And the Arambai will be heading back towards Viles. Tim, the only thing he's doing in this game right now is just tower defense and stonewall the entire map. Lix, he doesn't really have the wood anymore to repair that TC, and this is why you don't place your TCs too close, because, well, they're gonna get killed by the TC. Lix, yeah, Lix actually might go defeated here. He's 17 wheels, trying to repair that. Remember, this TC is killing it. This TC is killing it. Arambai trying to catch this one. Lix doesn't have food to make more villagers, and he doesn't have wood to repair that TC. The only thing that is helping here right now is the Arambai, but Lix might actually be defeated. He pulled all his wheels, I think. Yeah, he has 3 random wheels here that might just get killed. In the meanwhile, Arambai dive in though, so who wins that fight? It looks like China is going to win, and now Vilas is going to be forced to run. Castle coming up on this hill for Zupi. Worth noting that Yo is actually going imp here. Tim just reached Castle Age. I didn't even notice that. I was like, he could do a defensive castle. Like I said this 20 minutes ago, I didn't assume that he was still in feudal age. Beautiful, majestic 32 minutes Castle Age time. And now, because there is no farms for Lix that he can actually use, he's just going to lame away the farms of his opponent here. And yeah, this is looking decent for China because, like, Vilas is semi-dead. He's forced to make cav archers here. What else do we have over here? Nothing really important. Rubenstock, he's getting archers out on the field, surprisingly. Rubenstock coming back in this one. Lix is not a factor, but I feel like Yo could snowball this one very soon with Paladins, and there is also a lot of a run by for Vivi. Imperial Age is coming in for Zupi as well, but I prefer the Paladin over the Orbs. Hey, you're the guy who casted with T90 tournament a while ago. Yes, I did cast with T90 a couple of times. That is true. Right, there is no imp on the horizon for Max. Maybe if he had a balanced eco, he would be able to go up, but he wouldn't really have an army anyways. Lix, 500 score. 500 score, he's got 15 wheels right now, making a mill over there. I don't know why these villagers are running, but I guess there could be like one knight from Villas trying to kill them. So they are going to try and get over here. Remember what I said about the trade. Rubenstock is trying to deny the trade here, so he's stonewalling off the corner because he wants to prevent Suomi from trading. It's not like the trade would actually be influential by any means, but it's something. Lix losing more villagers, he's down to 15. As long as that TC stands, he has a chance. But how long is that TC going to stand? This is the question here. Random castle from Vivi taking over the gold mines. These were originally the gold mines of Rubenstock, I believe. This was Lix's base. This was Rubenstock's base, so this should be Rubenstock's gold, and this one should be Lix's gold. Age of Empires is a nice game, isn't it? In case this is the first ever Age of Empires game you see, this is not usually how games are played. Team is indeed playing with the Great Wall of China, no surprise, and Lix somehow got 3 villagers back here, so Lix is going to survive no matter what. He's not gonna get defeated here. Anyways, Yo is up to Imp, and even though there is going to be battering rams with a few pikemen in here, that blob of cavalry is just waiting to annihilate Max here. In fact, they're already annihilating Max here. Max, he's going up to Imp right now, but that's a lot of time. 3 minutes until he gets in there. Villas is random TC over here as well. Zupi is Imp? Zupi is Imp, yes, but the Orbs will not actually stop Paladin. The cavalry player in Imp is always more valuable than the archer player in Imp. This game had like 5 TC drops. Was it 5? We had a Gothic Lame, we had a TC drop from Ruben on Lix's base over here. And then we had 1, 2, 3, 4 TC drops from Lix over here. Casual competitive Age of Empires. Anyways, it looks like Tim is going to be the punching back here. And the question is, if Zupi can switch to hubs in time, he might be able to stop the cavalry of his opponent. But if he goes for full hub, the Paladin will just wreck Max here. Max is not far away from Imp. Floating 1000 wood isn't perfect, but Yo's got a completely untouched eco, and that's not something to underestimate. So he's the only player with an actual working eco. Also worth noting that Vivi's eco is more or less working as well, and the Arambai are absolutely destroying Ruben here. Now, where is Ruben going to run to? Wait a second. Did Ruben lose everything? No, Ruben has villagers here. Okay, so Ruben is not gonna go defeated anytime soon either. Although, theoretically, Lix sees that TC. So he could actually tell Vivi to go there and kill it. And that, I think, is Rubenstock's only base remaining. See the ping on the map? It's a green ping. So Vivi knows that this TC is over here. Meanwhile, we have 11 villagers remaining for Lix. I think Villas might castle drop this one to finish off Lix here. So we might have 2 players defeated. Because Ruben, now he's running away. He knows the Arambai are coming, and that's a lot of Arambai. Here is the problem. Ruben has no more wood to actually drop a TC, and he doesn't have a lumber camp nearby, and it looks like Suomi is going to resign in what was probably the craziest team game in recent memory. Ugh. That was an experience. Previous game was like, okay, nice team games, very competitive, China won. This game was like, oh my goodness. We had like 4 or 5 TC drops in the game, gothic claims, and at the end of the day, Rubenstock's douche was better, but I think the key was that neither Yo or Vivi was hit hard. So Vivi was able to squeeze out at the castle, so he could start going for a run by, and then Vilas got hit so hard. Oh yeah, Lix is still in Dark Age. Don't actually mind it. And in case you just joined in, I definitely recommend watching this game back in the VOD. I will definitely upload this to YouTube because this was an experience. Rubenstock 18 kills, 64 deaths. Lix has 3 buildings lost. Do you know what those 3 buildings were? Actually, that doesn't actually come up. How many TCs did he lose? Lost more than 3, right? But I guess deleted buildings don't actually account for that. So we can't see the exact amount of TCs he deleted. Largest army, Lix 4. That was because he had 1 scout in the 3 militias for a drush. Rubenstock had 11. At some point he had archers. This timeline is also beautiful. Just look at this. No feudal age. Rubenstock actually got to castle age, which is outstanding for a player that actually douched his opponent over here. Ah, majestic. And yeah, Vivi's army, 63 around by, not something that you could easily stop here. Worth looking at just the age up times. Look at this. It's like 9 minutes for Max, 10 minutes for Zupi, casual things. Lix, never feudal. Rubenstock, 29 minutes feudal. Also worth looking at the castle age time of Tim. That was 32 minutes castle age for Tim, which is the same as Rubenstock's castle age, who actually went to feudal at 29. Research count 1 for Lix. Do you know what that 1 research is? Because he was in Dark Age, the only research it could be is the free loom that he's getting with Goths. That's the only tech he researched in the entire game. Yeah, it's the loom. And it's even free for him. But it's 112 villagers for Yo, 89 only for Max. Lix's highest villager count, 26 in a 41-minute game. Beautiful.